I raised this question to a Hapkido group that I'm in on Facebook to other fellow instructors, and I thought I would discuss it here as well. If you teach martial arts, is that where you make your living? Or do you work other jobs on the side to supplement the income? Or do you just kind of teach as a hobby? I'm going to ask you to put your answers in the comments below because I think it's really interesting to explore the different answers that different people have, the different reasons why, and the different challenges that they face going through this. So of course I know people that fall into each of these categories, and I'm going to save my answer for later in the video because for now I want to be more unbiased and speak more generically. So first off, for those that teach martial arts full-time or make their living teaching, or just teach and don't do anything else, I've heard the reasons for this being that this allows them to devote their time and energy into their art and into their school so that they can make it the best product possible, and it kind of intrinsically is motivation to keep going when times get tough or when you might get tired of doing something because you have no other option and this is your life. Just like anybody that works a regular job, even if it's something they love doing, everybody's experienced it where you wake up and you don't want to go to work, but you have to do it to provide for yourself or for your family if you have one. And if you've inherited or even built from the ground up your own school and you have it to where it's a system that works really well, then why venture out and try anything else to distract you, or why try to supplement that with something else when you could just put more time and energy and invest it into your school to make it better? Because assuming you're not teaching 24 hours a day, you have some free time and you would use that to train on your own or to do business research or figure out those kinds of things to make the school improve and keep up with the times and things like that. And I think these are the schools that are able to charge the most premium rates because they usually present the best product, because the person in charge is devoting the most time possible into making this, and they probably have other instructors that they're having to pay well so that they're doing the same kind of thing to help the school. But you can justify the cost because what you're offering the students is something that's well worth their value and their time. However, I do know other people that try to do a similar approach to this, but for whatever reason they have to supplement their income with another job or some other gig that they do on the side. Reasons for this could be that the school is new, or even if it's not new, it doesn't have a lot of students for whatever reason, and the amount of money that's generated from the school is just simply not enough for somebody to live off of. Or others might try to focus more on not trying to jack up the price as high as possible. They want to make it more manageable for students, so they make it something that they can't live off of, but that they can still provide a decent product. And again, as we just discussed, if you have other instructors that you're having to pay for their time, then that can dwindle the income of the school quickly. And of course, there's other business costs like keeping the building paid, whether that be a mortgage or just rent that you're paying, and then all of the equipment that you have to use, and then the belts and stuff you have to buy for students as they rank up. The list goes on, but the point is sometimes after all of the tuition is paid and then all the bills are paid, there's not enough left over for you to live off of. And even still, if there is enough money for somebody to live off of, some people still like to venture out and do other things, whether it just be to get their mind off and have a separate avenue in their life, or if it's something related to martial arts or investment opportunities or other things. And then some people like to make their living elsewhere, even if the school makes enough money, because they want to invest the money that the school makes back into the school so that they can keep growing it. And then you have those that consider martial arts more of a hobby that they do on the side, and then they have their own full-time job that they do with most of their time. I think the main reason I've heard for this is that these people that fall into this category, they have a passion and a love for martial arts, and they kind of want to keep it that way. So they don't want to turn it into a job. And what I mean by that is they're able to sustain themselves with whatever other means that they have, whatever other job that they have, and they just do martial arts because they enjoy doing it. If you were to take it away from them, they would still be able to pay their bills and live their life, but this is just something that they choose to do, not something that they have to do. On the contrary from the first group we talked about, where those people were able to devote pretty much all of their time into their school and developing and growing, this group of people by default has less time to work with because most of their time is spent working a regular job. So they might not be able to turn their school into the state-of-the-art program that some people that own their own schools are able to do. I mean, you can definitely have someone from this last category that isn't able to spend a bunch of time, but they can still have a better quality product than someone that owns their school because they might not be doing it for the right reason. So I'm not saying that one is better than the other. I'm just saying that in general, this is kind of the things that these people face. Which, on that note, I guess you do have a fourth category of people that just do something like this as a get-rich-quick scheme, as something that they can just profit off of, as something they might not be technically skilled in, but they might be really good at business, and marketing to people and offering them a program that looks really good, but it doesn't really provide them anything, or it provides them something that is going to harm them more than it's going to help them. But I don't really want to talk about that group in this video anyway. So anyway, like I was saying, I don't think any one of these groups is better than the others and they're doing it the right way while the others are doing it the wrong way. I just think it's interesting to bring forth, everybody's experiences and talk about them. We can compare what we do and why we do it without having to criticize what someone else does. We can just come from a place of understanding and see that the reasons why they do what they do fits them better, and the reasons why we do what we do fits us better. And we can still learn from each other. We can pick up tactics from a different group of people that we can use and put forth into our own programs, and there's nothing wrong with that either. So to talk about me for a second, where do I fall? I think I fall mostly in the latter category of people that consider martial arts more of a hobby. I do work full-time as an engineer, and I consider that my living, and that's where I take home the income that I need to sustain the life that I live. I've personally never had the goal of owning a martial arts school of my own. I just really consider it a passion of mine, and I do consider it as my life, but I just don't have it tied monetarily to my life. Because me personally, I think I'm the type of person that if something is required of me and it is a job, then I'm gonna feel like it's a job in some ways. So I do enjoy my day job and I enjoy what I do, but I don't have the same amount of passion for it that I do have for martial arts. So again, personally, I feel that if I were to take martial arts and put it on the forefront of my life and turn it into my living, that it would start to feel less like an enjoyable hobby and more like a job that I have to do every day. Other people aren't wired like I am, and they could have martial arts be at the forefront of their life and be something that they have to do, but they can still hold that same passion as if it was something that they did as a hobby. So I do volunteer my time to a couple of private schools that are owned by people that do this as more of an income stream or more of a living than what I do. And I'm blessed that I can just show up when I feel like it and when I need to, but I'm never tied to having to do it because I don't have to pay my bills with it because I'm just doing it. I'm just volunteering. And then I'm in charge of my own program, but it's not something that I own or even pay rent with. It's just something that I'm considered an employee of the city that I live in, and they run the program and they fund everything, and I just show up and I teach the classes. And it's through the city's recreation program, so it's at a very, very discounted rate compared to, private school rates. And it's set to be that way so that anybody can feasibly afford to do this, because let's face it, not everybody's able to afford to pay tuition every month to a private school that's over $100 or something like that. So I get joy and I feel humbled that I can have a program like this where people have told me that they couldn't afford to go to another place, but this is the only place that they can make it to. And to me, that's what it's all about. And by no means this is me trying to brag about myself, because if anything, I believe this is just more of a show of the privilege that I've been given in my life. This is not really by anything specifically that I did. This is just something that I've been able to do and have been able to take the steps through my schooling and now through my work that I'm able to maintain doing this on a weekly basis. But with that comes the challenges that we're not able to house a lot of instructors. We don't have a lot of people that can devote a lot of individual attention to students. We have big classes. We never have a problem with enrollment. We always fill up our lists every session that we do. So in my case, we can't provide that individual attention that I would expect at a private studio, for instance. And to reiterate, I don't think one is wrong and one is right. I just think that they both apply to different scenarios. And at the end of the day, I'm just glad that they both exist because they cater to different groups of people and they provide the individual with more option. I'm so glad that not every school is the same thing because that would be boring. We all know that. And I'm just curious if you have any thoughts about this because I really do enjoy discussing this. I had a good time discussing this on Facebook earlier, and it's become one of my favorite things to talk about now. At the end of the day, as long as you're instilling knowledge into willing people that want to learn, then you're doing a great job. Thank you guys for watching and keep training.